As we count down towards White House Correspondents Dinner 2024, shall we rewind and enjoy some of those moments of White House Correspondent Dinners from past years, including former guy who has such a thin skin, didn't even turn up. Joke still rolled though.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
You look terrible, Mr. President. Dude, your hair is so white, it tried to punch me at a Trump rally.
The leader of our country is not here. And that's because he lives in Moscow. It is a very long flight. It'd be hard for Vlad to make it. Vlad can't just make it on a Saturday. It's a Saturday.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Mr. President, salam.
Mike Pence is what happens when Anderson Cooper isn't gay.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me here. You know, I was a little confused about why me, but then I was told that you get your highest approval ratings when a biracial African guy is standing next to you, so
I get why Donald Trump didn't want to be roasted tonight. By the looks of him, he's been roasting nonstop for the past 70 years.
But to Tucker's staff, I want you to know that I know what you're feeling. I work at The Daily Show, so I too have been blindsided by the sudden departure of the host of a fake news program.
Donald Trump often appears on Fox, which is ironic because a fox often appears on Donald Trump's head.
The truth is, the First Lady is right. Americans are in terrible shape. You can even tell how out of shape we are by the way we protest. We used to march, now we occupy.
We should be inspired by the events in France. They rioted when the retirement age went up 2 years to 64. They rioted because they didn't want to work till 64. Meanwhile, in America, we have an 80-year-old man begging us for 4 more years of work.
John Hamm is here? Yeah. John Hamm looks the way every Republican thinks they look.
And of course we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We are graced with Sarah's presence tonight. I have to say I'm a little starstruck. I love you as Aunt Lydia on The Handmaid's Tale. Mike Pence, if you haven't seen it, you would love it. Every time Sarah steps up to the podium, I get excited because I'm not really sure what we're gonna get. You know, a press briefing, a bunch of lies, or divided into softball teams. It's shirts and skins, and this time don't be such a little bitch, Jim Acosta. I actually really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like, she burns facts, and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye. Like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. It's probably lies. And I'm never really sure what to call Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You know, is it Sarah Sanders? Is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Is it Cousin Huckabee? Is it Auntie Huckabee Sanders? Like, what's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women? Oh, I know, Aunt Coulter.
The same over the hill. Don Lemon would say that's a man in his prime.
Watch C-SPAN's coverage of the annual White House Correspondents Dinner, live Saturday, April 27th, with Saturday Night Live Weekend Update co-host Colin Jost as the featured entertainer, as well as President Biden, who's expected to give remarks. Our coverage begins at 6 p.m. Eastern on cspan.org and C-SPAN Now, as journalists and celebrities walk the red carpet into the event. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern on C-SPAN, sights and sounds from inside the ballroom before the festivities begin. Watch the White House Correspondents Dinner, live Saturday, April 27th.
No one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter, like Did we fake the moon landing?
I was sitting 20 feet from him, and just the look of discomfort on his face.
What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Donald's face was so incredibly serious. It was so incredibly he just put on a poker face.
I was 2 tables away from Trump. The conventional way in Washington of absorbing a joke at the White House Correspondents Dinner is to keep your chin up and at least pretend to have a sense of humor about it, even if you go cry into your pillow that night. Trump was steaming. His face was all locked in. He was not having a good time.
All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night. Mr. Trump, he certainly would bring some change to the White House. Let's see what we've got up there.
Donald dreads humiliation, and he dreads shame. And this is why he often attempts to humiliate and shame other people. So in the case of the president ridiculing him, I think this was intolerable for Donald Trump.
You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? Because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him. I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you. He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college or ties or Eric. But he has helped you. He's helped you sell your papers and your books and your TV. You helped create this monster, and now you're profiting off of him. And if you're gonna profit off of Trump, you should at least give him some money because he doesn't have any. Trump is so broke. He grabs pussies because he thinks there might be loose change in them. All right, like an immigrant who was brought here by his parents and didn't do anything wrong. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
No one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing?
I was sitting 20 feet from him, and just the look of discomfort on his face.
What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Donald's face was so incredibly serious. It was so incredibly he just put on a poker face.
I was 2 tables away from Trump. The conventional way in Washington of absorbing a joke at the White House Correspondents Dinner is to keep your chin up and at least pretend to have a sense of humor about it, even if you go cry into your pillow that night. Trump was steaming. His face was all locked in. He was not having a good time.
All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night. Mr. Trump, he certainly would bring some change to the White House. Let's see what we've got up there.
Donald dreads humiliation, and he dreads shame. And this is why he often attempts to humiliate and shame other people. So in the case of the president ridiculing him, I think this was intolerable for Donald Trump.
A black man was thought by his mere color not good enough to lead a football team. And now, to live in your time, Mr. President, when a black man can lead the entire free world. Words alone do me no justice. So, Mr. President, if I'm going to keep it 100, yo, Barry, you did it, my nigga. Did it. Thank you very much. Good night.
Excuse me? I've been wondering about these grades on 100 days. You can't imagine how disappointed I am by that. This whole grade thing, because my mother still keeps all those report cards on her refrigerator. And I knew you give Hillary higher marks than me. It's just like law school all over again.
Well, good evening, Mr. President, Mrs. First Lady, and the distinguished members of the Radio and Television Correspondents Dinner. You know, when I accepted the honor of performing here tonight, one thought crossed my mind, and that was, please, God, don't let me bomb in front of the president. And of course, it was very inspiring to see President Clinton up here on crutches making a speech. I mean, I thought that was just amazing, you know. I mean, it's been difficult for the president. You know, he can't jog now, and he needs help getting around, and he's still, you know, occasionally suffers great pain, you know. On the upside, you got your medical marijuana, so that's, you know. You must inhale, sir. It's the only way you're going to get better. It's... But it's odd. I mean, I think this is the first time that I can remember that we've had a president that has hobbled, you know, and it's tough on everybody. The Secret Service is not easy on the Secret Service. They have had to learn, you know, how to do this, and they've been specially trained on how to lift and carry President Clinton by top experts who've been doing this for a long time. Boris Yeltsin's Secret Service agents. They've stepped in to help, you know. I'm very nervous. I don't know why. Before I sip this coffee, actually, sir, how much is it? How much would a cup of coffee cost in a place like this?
Nothing for you.
Nothing. It's free. Okay, great. I didn't want to get, you know, I didn't want to see $90,000 on my bill later. I'm sorry. You know, of course, they say the White House is haunted. Did you know that? And I thought this was kind of sad. I heard last night that President Clinton charged Abraham Lincoln's ghost $10,000 to sleep in his own bed. So that doesn't seem right to me, you know? I mean... No. But look, the president, you know, has come under a lot of fire for raising money, but, you know, he's good at raising money. That's not a bad thing. Every president's done it. It's just that President Clinton is very, very, very good at it. Do you know he has organized in the past year over 100 fundraising dinners and over 200 fundraising midnight snacks? Did you know that? Is he laughing? Is he... Is he... No, but Mr. President, seriously, you know, I know you've had to work through a lot of distractions in doing the business of running this country, and I just want to say, you know, that I implore you, stay focused and do the job, and try to remember, you know, that Rome was not built in a day, you know. I mean, just ask Strom Thurmond, he'll tell you. It was not built in a day. He's an old fella, you know, folks. How would you not know that? You know, it just occurred to me, Mr. President, you are now handicapped, and you're the President of the United States. You must have an unbelievable parking spot, you know? That's got to be very close to the building, you know? But you got to hand it to the president. His injury is not holding him back from doing the business of the nation, you know. In fact, he just nominated Major General Claudia Kennedy as the Army's first female 3-star general. And I think that's great, you know. She's doing a great job. Apparently, the only thing she's having trouble with, she's having difficulty figuring out how to sexually harass herself. She doesn't know how to... What's that? Guy yells my name for no reason. I just want to say, you know, before I go, that it really has been a thrill for me. I joke around about the news, you know, but you people, you do the real thing, and you serve as our watchdogs, and you tell the real stories that come out of this city. And I, for one, you know, think you do a darn good job. And as a matter of fact, I have a message from someone who couldn't be here and wanted me to read it to you. This is from Senator Bob Dole. He wanted me to read this to you. Here it is. This is it. This is from Senator Bob Dole. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, to hell with all of you. You cost me the damn election. You can kiss my ass, every last one of you. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much.
But listen, let's review the rules. Here's how it works. The president makes decisions. He's the decider. The press secretary announces those decisions, and you people of the press type those decisions down. Make, announce, type. Just put them through a spell check and go home. Get to know your family again. Make love to your wife. Write that novel you got kicking around in your head. You know, the one about the intrepid Washington reporter with the courage to stand up to the administration? You know, fiction.
I get that age is completely reasonable issue. It's in everybody's mind. And everyone, by everyone I mean the New York Times. Headline, Biden's advanced age is a big issue. Trump's, however, is not. Sorry, that was a New York Times pitch spot. I apologize. I love that guy. I should do an interview with him. You might think I don't like Rupert Murdoch. That's simply not true. How could I dislike a guy who makes me look like Harry Styles? You call me old. I call it being seasoned. You say I'm ancient. I say I'm wise. You say I'm over the hill. Don Lemon would say that's a man in his prime.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, here I am.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Now, I know there's some polls out there saying that this man has a 32% approval rating. But guys like us, we don't pay attention to the polls. We know that polls are just a collection of statistics that reflect what people are thinking in reality. And reality has a well-known liberal bias.
I'm a mellow sort of guy. And that's why I invited Luther, my anger translator, to join me here tonight.
The president was at Camden Yards doing play-by-play on the radio with John Miller. Bobby Bonilla hit a double, and we all heard the president, in his obvious excitement, holler, "Go, baby!" I bet that's not the first time he said that. Remember the AstroTurf and the pickup?
Where's the great white hunter? I am sorry Vice President Cheney couldn't be here tonight. Cheney, what a goofball. Shot the only trial lawyer in the country who's for me.
I actually really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like she burns facts, and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye.
The nonstop focus on billionaire donors creates real problems for our democracy.
And that's why we're running for a third term.
No, we're not.
We're not?
No.
Who the hell said that?
Senator Biden always looked at me like he was coming on to the witnesses. Usually women. So, Anita, when this is all over, you want to have a drink?
Mr. Trump may not be a good choice for president, but he would definitely make a great press secretary. Kim Jong-il is a loser. His latest rally was a flop. I, on the other hand, sell my own line of ties. You can find them at Macy's in the flammable section.
And with that, I just have two more words to say. Obama out.